Hello, marry me. So, the topic I want to discuss today is ghosts. And more specifically, I want to discuss something that often bothers me with ghost hunting and people who cleanse houses and so on and so forth. And the thing that really, really bothers me is that I feel that we don't have the right. Now, I'm not against helping ghosts because a lot of ghosts that have not found their way into the light have not crossed over into the afterlife they want to. They just don't know the way or they're scared. And I see nothing wrong with helping them, of course not. By all means, do rituals and help them. But for those that don't want to go, is it really right to evict them? I mean, if we believe that these entities lived here before, that they are the spirits of people, why should only physical people be allowed to have any rights, to be respected? And I understand it if it's like these ghosts just are hostile. Because you do what you have to do to protect yourself. But if it's just the typical irrational fear people have of the spiritual, I think it's morally wrong to force these beings into the light. So, I mean, let's take an example. There was this episode of a Norwegian ghost hunting show named Åndenes Makt, the power of the spirit. And it's not like these entities hurt the people living there, but they creaked around and uh, sometimes they would find uh, things moved about on the kitchen and so on and so forth. And they tossed the spirits out. And I mean, that pisses me off because why? Why? Is it right to let your irrational fear of the spiritual be reason to do basically spiritual violence to these beings? It doesn't matter if you feel that they should be in the light. Perhaps they should, but they're sentient beings. They have the right to say no. Actually, I don't want to go into the light. Not yet, at least. And that's something I am really irritated over. Because I feel that spirits, whatever or not they are a ghost, as in the spirits of dead humans, or if they are nature spirits, have as much right to live in this world as any other entity, physical or not. So that if there are beings, spiritual beings living in your house, do you really have the right to force them to leave? Or even worse, force them over to the other side if they don't want to go? Now, I think that if one is going to cleanse a house, one thing is, like I said, cleansing it of negativity. And some entities are clearly negative. They um, create a negative situation. They attack people. And I'm not thinking horror movie style because that's very rare, but people might have nightmares. They generally they are a threat to whoever lives in the house or works in the shop or whatever place this is. And of course, then you go in, you cleanse it out, you do what you do to protect yourself. If it's just because you're afraid of the unknown, And the only thing this entity does is creak up and down the stairs a few times. Is it right to force that? I mean, I believe that we live on that the world is multidimensional. That there are many planes of existence on top of one another. And our physical plane is just one of them. Is it then right to say that our physical plane takes precedence, so that whatever these spirits are just peacefully existing, they have to go because it's the physical is the only thing that matters. If somebody lived in a house, built the house, and is now deceased, but their spirit still remain there, do you, as the current owner of the property, have the right to force them into the light or banish them? And I say no. What I think people should do when they uh, deal with spirits is to try to help. Like I said, most spirits, at least most ghosts, it's something else when you have nature spirits and the like. But most ghosts want to go into the light, but they have somehow lost their way. So what I like to do is, for example, set up a ritual, light a white candle, and talk to the entity. Tell them that they have loved ones and their spirit guides and whatever beings from their religion that they might have followed is waiting for them on the other side. And ask them if they will accept your help, and then envision a bright, shining white door that opens. And just keep that visualization, giving a way for the ghost to leave. But I don't think that you should try to force them to leave, not unless they are actually threatening or being a problem. And I'm not thinking yes, irrational fear is a problem for the people living in the house. Now granted, spirits often drain energy from the living. So if the haunting is very benign, but you are getting headaches, you are getting very tired, you're getting sick more often, I would consider that being a threat. And then you might have to do something. Even when you have to do something, it is best to try to use the sugar method first. Try to help the spirit before you toss them out. I think it's very important that if we are going to deal with ghosts or any kind of spirit, that we treat them with respect. Because they are creatures, they're living entities, just as we are, even if we have flesh. And I think that, for example, this is especially important for Wiccans who believe in the concept of harming none. Well, if I think that forcing a spirit into the light is harming them, even if you do it with the best of intentions, I think it is harming them, because it's not where they want to be right now. And when it comes to nature spirits, the spirits of various items, or even upper or nether region spirits, I feel that the same rules should apply. I think, like I said, there's many planes of existence, and as such, I don't think that we have the right to say only we will exist there, because that isn't the case. So I think that before you go to the step of banishing a spirit, you should first Like, is this spirit in any way, shape, or form a danger or a threat to the people living there? If so, of course, you do what you have to protect yourself. That includes if they drain a lot of energy from you. The second is there a way to get this spirit to leave to not involve spiritual violence? And yes, opening a portal and tossing that spirit through, that is spiritual violence. And three, basically, can you help the spirit? Because very often, figuring out why a spirit is there, they will not that be a ghost or a natural spirit, they are there for a reason. And actually, a disturbance can often be amended just by figuring out what the spirit wants. A ghost might want some sort of resolution, while a nature spirit might want to continue that task. So let's say that you have a problem with a nature spirit in your home. And what that nature spirit needs is plants to take care of. So you get some potted plants, dedicate them to that spirit, problem goes away. That is better than banishing that spirit. Using actual force and banishing something should only be a last resort. It should not be something that I see a lot of paranormal investigators, mediums, spiritualists, and so on. They toss those spirits out, and I feel that it's disrespectful because they have as much right to be here as we do. So, and of course, they are, like I said, beings that are actually a threat, that are either dangerous or that wanting to or not drain too much energy, or and so on and so forth. And of course, you do what you have to do. But when it comes to ghosts, nature spirits, and so on, they usually are here for a reason. And figuring out that reason, and either then helping them to cross over or leave your home in the case of nature spirit, or finding a way to coexist with them in a peaceful manner, it's, in my opinion, much better than to force it. And here we also have, when it comes to ghosts and passing over, a lot of people I brought this argument up with say, but they should be in the light. It's the right place for them to be. And that, like I said, might be so. However, we have this about respecting somebody's wishes. Now, you might wish for your aunt Olga to go and get that psychological treatment. You think that her tendency to sit and rock baby dolls and pretend they're her children is unhealthy for her. It might be, but in most nations there are pretty strict laws for when you can force someone, because you have to be pretty damn sure they're a danger to themselves or others before you take somebody's free will and anonymity away. And the same way with spirit. You might think the best way for them is to go into the light so they can go to heaven, they can be reincarnated, whatever you believe in. But they are self-conscious entities. They have to be allowed to make that choice for themselves. Now, when it comes to just the energy imprints, basically the most common types of ghosts, the two most common types, are either the ones that are actually self-conscious spirits who lingers. But you also have basically the imprint that's probably the even more common, which is basically as if energy has been imprinted in a place, and what you see and experience is just that energy. I think that then you don't have to take as much consideration because it is just an energy imprint. And cleaning your house, getting rid of unwanted energy, that's fine. But then you should be pretty sure that that's an imprint and not an actual entity before you do so. Because I feel that it's very important that we as occultists as witches, mediums, shamans, magicians, whatever you want to call yourself, that you approach the forces and powers you work with uttermost respect. Because in many ways we are the same. We are spirit. Yes, spirit clothed in flesh. And we should not be so proud of that flesh that we think that it gives us right to come around and bully other entities. Because basically that is like the kids in the schoolyard, and you have the kids that are dressed in the fine fashion clothing that bullies the kids that are not. That's exactly the same as saying we who are spirit in flesh, we have the right to toss out, bully, evict, and act like bullies to spirits who do not have flesh. Flesh isn't that important. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my flesh. I'm not want to give it up, but I'm saying we should be respectful of the being that doesn't have flesh. So yeah, I think that we have to be considerate when dealing with spirits and not just force our will through. And I always think that helping the spirits are better than forcing them. And I don't think that we should force them unless we have absolutely no other choice for the health and well-being of the people living or working in a particular area. And that goes for both ghosts and natural spirits. So yeah, hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Blessed be.